Welcome back to Counselor Confidential. My name is Megan. I am a licensed therapist here in the United States, and I am here to comment on whether or not I think Stephan Sterns should take a plea deal, and also whether I think he will or not. I don't think he will, but time will tell. Things always can pop up and surprise us. So if you're already familiar with the case, let's dive into it. If you are not already familiar with the case, I highly, highly recommend that you do the deep dive into Grizzly True Crimes playlist. She's been following this case from day one, literally from the moment that poor Maddie Soto went missing until present day. That is where I've gotten almost all of my information about the case. I have been following along with her. Highly recommend it. But if you're already familiar, I'm assuming that's why you're here. So let's get into my opinion on what the deal is with a potential plea deal, what the deal is with the death penalty, and what I think is going to happen, and why I think somebody like Stephan Sterns, or like somebody who is accused of what he is accused of, why they probably aren't going to take a plea deal in this case. So let's get into it. So why am I even asking this question? Well, if you are a true crime lover, you know that Bryan Kohberger, who is now, we can say, guilty of the crime of killing 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho, he recently just took a plea deal. He recently just pled guilty after 2 years of dragging this case out. And he said, you know what, I'll take a plea deal. Like, all the evidence has stacked up. I don't see a way out. I'd rather have life in prison than be on death row. So that has happened within the last, I think, week or two here, maybe 2 weeks. And so he is actually going to be sentenced next week on July 22nd, I believe, July 23rd. One of those days, he's going to be sentenced. I will have another video about that in the description box below. So check that out if you're interested in that. But back to Stephan Sterns, the reason that I am thinking about whether or not he should or might or won't take a plea deal is because everyone was really gearing up for the Bryan Kohberger trial. We were expecting it to be this months-long extravaganza. I'm sure lots of creators on YouTube are very disappointed that that didn't go to trial, because that was going to be a real cash cow for anybody live streaming that trial. But for Stephan Sterns, he is a totally different beast, it appears. We have a lot more information into Stephan Sterns' thoughts. We have a lot more recordings of his voice. We have recordings of police interviews with him. He did not lawyer up right away. We also have access to his jail calls, all of the phone calls that he's had with his parents. And it really appears, this is just my opinion, all of this is allegedly. I don't know this man. I have not interviewed him. I have not assessed him. He is not a client of mine. This is just my opinion based on publicly available material. Let's talk about 3 reasons why I think he wants to go to trial versus accepting a plea deal, even though the evidence is stacked through the roof against him. Again, innocent until proven guilty, but since the judge is allowing all of this evidence from his Google Cloud to be brought into the trial, I really don't see a way around him being convicted. I really don't see a way around it. It's pictures of him. It's pictures of his clothes. It's pictures of his body parts with an underage child. I don't know how he's going to try and squirm out of that one. I don't know how his defense team is planning to get around it, but I guess we'll see. So here's theory number 1. This is my top theory. I'm not even going to make you wait. My top theory for why I think he wants to go to trial rather than accept a plea deal. I think he's sick. I think he's really sick in the head. I think he is a predator, allegedly, who really wants to see all of the evidence again. And in the state of Florida, from what I understand, somebody who is on trial, somebody who is accused of a crime, is allowed and entitled to see the evidence that's being brought against them in court, even if it is child sexual abuse material. So that is disgusting, in my opinion. That is gross. It is wrong. I wish there was an exception for this type of evidence, that the accused wouldn't be allowed to see it, that only, I hate to say that even only the jury be allowed to see it, because that also is really disturbing and unfortunate. And it's, I think, very selfish of him to take this to trial if he really is guilty, because he's now exposing all of these people. He's exposing the lawyers, the court clerks, the judge, all of the police officers, like all of these people involved. And then just jury members, regular people like you and me, are going to be exposed to this material. And it's just a shame. It's a shame. I think it's horrible. I think it's unfair. I think it's gross. But I think from the perspective of a predator, allegedly, I think it makes perfect sense. He wants to relive it at least one last time. And being in court and viewing it as evidence is the only way he's ever going to get to do that again. I think that's the number one reason. I think that is the number one thing driving him to go to trial, not to save his life. I don't think he has any illusion that he's going to get a hung jury or get a jury to say that he's not guilty. I think he just wants to see it again. And I think he wants to have those memories, and he's going to enjoy it. And I'm really upset about that. The number two reason that I think Stephan Sterns is not taking a plea deal and that he is going to take this to trial is that I think he actually secretly does want to be on death row. Now, I don't know that he necessarily wants to die per se, but I think from the interviews that we have seen, there's an interview with his parents. From that interview, his parents have already, it seems, come to terms with the idea that Stephan will probably die in prison. And they have come to terms with the fact that he will probably die a very violent death in prison, that he will be a victim of jailhouse justice because of the nature of what he's accused of. I think for Stephan, who is a little scaredy cat, allegedly, who likes to be comfortable, who likes to, he doesn't want to be too cold. He wants to have a cozy bed to sleep in. He wants to have his little root beer barrel candies, and his coffee and his pickles and whatever the hell it is that he's getting in jail right now. I think this is a man who doesn't want to die a violent death. I think if he has to pick, he would rather be on death row and be treated humanely and have a humane death on death row, and to be protected from other violent criminals in general population. So I think for him, if he's weighing his options, or somebody like him, because this is all alleged as of now, it would seem to me that from his point of view, being on death row is a better deal. And then he also has a lifetime to file appeals if he would like. And so that would be preferable to him than accepting a plea deal, no chance for appeals, no way to keep himself busy mentally, with all the legal stuff going on. And he's in a lot more danger if he's in general population with a life sentence than he is secluded on death row. So I think that is it. The third reason, and probably, the least interesting reason I think he's going to trial rather than take a plea deal, I think he's just bored, quite honestly. There may be part of him or someone in his situation who does want to relive the crimes that they're accused of. But I think at a much simpler level, I would imagine it's just interesting. Going to court is way more interesting than being alone in a prison cell, right? So who wouldn't want to take it to trial? Who wouldn't want to just sort of spend your day in a courtroom wearing normal clothes, being around other people, having normal conversations with other people, outside of a jail cell? So I think those are his reasons that he will probably not take a plea deal. Let me know in the comments below if you agree, if you think that makes sense, if you disagree, or if you think he will take a plea deal. Maybe he will. I don't know. I could be wrong. We still have a whole week until jury selection. So there's still time. He certainly could. But I wonder too if the prosecution even will offer a plea deal, right? I don't think they have any reason to offer a plea deal because their evidence is so strong against him, allegedly. I mean, they really have nothing to gain from letting him off the hook. There's really nothing in it for them. their job is to take cases to trial and get justice. Why not take it to trial and get justice? That's what the system is set up for. So those are my thoughts on whether or not I think Stephan Sterns will take a plea deal. Now, in regards to whether or not I think he should take a plea deal, yes, I think he should take a plea deal. I think if one is offered, right? Again, we don't know if there's even a plea deal on the table. There doesn't have to be. Prosecutors don't have to offer any sort of deal. But if one were offered, I think it would be kind to the general public for him to take it. But I don't, from afar, from everything I've witnessed, from everything I've observed, it doesn't seem like he would. It doesn't seem like he would. It seems like even if he believes that he is guilty, even if he knows that what he did was wrong, even if he knows that he deserves the ultimate punishment, I think there's no real incentive for him to take a deal. There is more incentive for somebody with a predatory mind, for them to go ahead with the trial, relive the excitement of what they did in their mind, allegedly, basically get to drag everybody else through the mud and let everyone else suffer since he's suffering. He doesn't seem like the most empathetic person on the planet. If you are somebody who was allegedly willing to torture a child from the age that we know of, from the age of 8 until she turned 13, you have no care in the world for her comfort, you don't view her as a human being, I don't think he's going to have a lot of empathy for the jury. I don't think he has a lot of empathy for his own parents. He views his parents, from their phone call jail records, it looks like he basically views them as a slot machine or an ATM, right? He will play the game, he'll chat with them for a little while, talk about the dogs, the parents are dog breeders, and then it's not too long before he talks about his commissary account and what they can get for him for his comfort. So Stephan Sterns appears to be, allegedly, all about his own comfort, all about his own gratification, and that's why I think he's going to go to trial. So let me know in the comments below what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Check out that Bryan Kohberger video. I will link it below. All right, see you later.